My name is Janet Alder. I'm a sister of Christopher Alder that died in Hull Police Station in 1998. Christopher was an ex-paratrooper. I'd left the army and he was settling back in Hull. He was a father of two young lads. He was quite a jovial person, quite a bit of a comedian and whatsoever. And he would have helped anybody. He was more of a protector. He was going out on a night out with some friends. There had been a bit of a fracas within the nightclub, which spilled outside. Somebody had assaulted Christopher. I fell, bumped his head on the ground, and due to that, he was taken to the hospital. The police went to see him as a complainant, decided to arrest him because his behaviour deteriorated. And within a 5-minute journey to the police station, he came out of that van, the police van, unconscious, with his trousers to his knees. It can be seen on CCTV, being dragged into the custody suite, laid on the floor, and he lays there for 11 minutes gasping for his life without any attention given to him from the police at all. They stood about looking at charging him for more severe charges, and Christopher dies on the custody suite floor. The police came to my door. The police officer stood and he asked me if I was a sister of Christopher Alder. He told me that he died in police custody. That's all I knew initially. Christopher died in 1998 and was made aware by the PCA at the time that there was CCTV footage of his death, but wasn't able to see that footage till 2 years later. When I actually did see the footage, I was in shock to what I was seeing. Shortly after seeing the CCTV footage in 2000, we had an inquest that gave us an unlawful killing verdict. Basically, the jury had said that Christopher died due to the fact that he'd been left without any assistance. He could have survived if assistance had been given to him. I was really expecting, after an unlawful killing verdict, for the process to be automatic, that the police officers would be charged with gross negligence manslaughter, and I was mistaken. After the failing of the prosecution, after the failing of the disciplinary, I was in total shock. I was just absolutely disgusted that Christopher's right to life, he had died on a custody suite floor with no accountability. His right to life had been taken away, and it was clear to see that there'd been no thorough investigation, not a proper investigation into his death at all. Liberty had taken a case for us, to fight for Christopher's rights, and Article 2, his right to life, Article 3, that he'd been treated inhumanely and degraded, and Article 14, that had been discriminated against on the grounds of race. It was actually 13 years before the process actually came to the European courts. I decided to carry on the fight as long as it'd take, because we fight for justice. We wanted some accountability. It'd been a very, very long process of waiting for the court to have a hearing. And the government were fighting it all the way. And right up to the last minute of the case being heard, the government then decided to concede and admitted that they failed to do a thorough and proper investigation into Christopher's death, that he'd been treated with inhumane and degrading treatment, and that he'd been discriminated against on the grounds of race. What it has shown me is that if in 1998 the Human Rights Act had been enforced, that the government would have found it a lot harder to deny Christopher's right to life, his inhumane, degrading treatment, and the discrimination in his case. And I think they would have been forced into a position of doing the right thing instead of 13 years later. The whole experience has emphasised to me that everybody's got human rights, everybody's entitled to justice, and those rights to be held. I believe that human rights really gets bad press, and I think that's due to the fact that people are not really concentrating on what is actually going on in this country and the amount of injustice that's going on in this country. I don't think people understand the Human Rights Act in such a way where it affects them. It affects every single one of us. To scrap it would be, I believe, it would be dangerous. It would, there wouldn't be justice in this country for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have been inspired about, the fact that we've got to Europe. And, we've fought that long. And it's given a lot of families hope, they can fight for what they believe is right.
Find out more about our Human Rights Act at commonvalues.org.uk.